This is just one plant. Mine. The branches have spread out. Wow. Look at this. Whoa. Wow, there are this many on this side. And I'm sure there are just as many on the other side. I'm satisfied with the results of adding it every time I do pest control. It's cost effective. Oh. Look at this. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Wow. This chili plant here, this is just one. The spacing is exactly 40 centimeters, but my training method is unique, laying the chili plants sideways. So one plant is so big, I can't even hold it. So there are this many on this side, and I'm sure there are just as many on the other side. So how many are on just this one plant? I haven't accurately counted them, but I'd estimate around 70. Counting both sides, there are at least 60 or 70 peppers on this plant. They say you get about a pound after picking around 110 peppers from one plant. But right now, in the summer, the peppers are experiencing what's called stunted growth of shoots. Now, there are several complex reasons for this stunted growth. First, it could be the climatic conditions, the temperature being too high. Second, it could be because the plant has produced too much fruit, and with the hot weather, it leads to stunted growth. And then, it also depends on the soil condition. It depends on the quality of the soil you have here and to what extent. They say many factors, like soil conditions, lead to stunted growth. While my experience in pepper farming is limited, from my studies, that seems to be the case. So since the shoot's growth is stunted, we need to fix it quickly, right? That's the only way they can continuously bear fruit like this. Since the growth is stunted, we must quickly resolve it so they can flower and fruit. And there's a method to achieve that, a remedy. So you can revive them and make them flower again? Exactly. For chili peppers, if I use tunnel cultivation, like I do, and planted them on April 8th this year, I can keep picking them until the first frost arrives. We have to fix this quickly, right? To get them to flower. They have to flower to bear fruit. And there are several methods to tackle this issue. First, to build up the plant's strength, I use this drip irrigation hose to apply a water-soluble fertilizer just this morning. Second, from my experience, there's a product called Nousbo's enzyme amino acid. Enzyme amino has amino acid plus seaweed extract. And from what I've seen using it, I'm very satisfied with it as a foliar spray. This plant has received the enzyme amino acid about 4 times now. It turned out you can mix it with pesticides. I've been adding it about 4 times since the mid-growth phase. Each time I did pest control, and I'm quite satisfied. I used it, it's cost-effective, and I'm satisfied. Lately, this one also had stunted growth, and due to the rainy season, all the chili pepper roots are probably not functioning well. But when you do a foliar feeding with the product, you can see satisfying results with your own eyes after a day or 2. For instance, if a plant appears wilted, foliar spray it early in the morning, and by afternoon or the next day, you will observe satisfying results. It offers good value for money, and I consider it quite effective. So you train them to spread out. My training method is a bit different. This particular training method, which I reference from YouTube, is often employed in greenhouses. In greenhouses, some cultivate very tall plants, while others keep them stable to set fruit. But whether one grows them tall or lays them out like I do outdoors, each method has its own distinct advantages and disadvantages. My career's short, but I've been at this, 3 years? This is my 4th year. It's worth trying grafting in open fields. While it demands a bit more effort, I consider this method to be quite beneficial. And recently, people have been using nets for cultivation. But with net cultivation, The plants can't spread out this much. Look at this chili plant here. With a net, you can't spread it this wide. I think it's about 1.1 meters for a 4-row net cultivation. It doesn't expand that widely, and I honestly feel I need to study this specific technique more in depth and implement some significant improvements. Next, fruit setting must continue. As I said about stunted growth, for chili plants, the lower ones. The ones above are pretty much the same. That's the owner's job. Anyway, nutrient management is crucial. Usually they fruit well lower down, but higher up. The reason for that is simple. For reference, I watered them using this drip irrigation, even during the rainy season. Even during the rainy season? Yes, even then. I gave them a bit of water. If you keep watering and managing the nutrients well, the plant will develop, and you can get all the peppers at the top to grow like this. As you mentioned, for market value, peppers at the top and bottom must be uniform. You have to know how to cultivate them. Then, once they've borne fruit at the top, if you prevent pest damage and manage nutrients properly, they will surely grow quite large up there. But people ask, chili peppers hate water, so why water during the rainy season? That's incorrect. You have to give them water. You don't need to give them a lot at that time. As you can see, I've managed the water so my soil doesn't clump up like this. Water must never ever pool in these furrows. For all crops, as I discussed with a farmer this very morning, water should not collect here. If water pools in the furrows, plants die. Die sounds harsh, but they'll wither and yields will drop. While natural disasters are unavoidable, I watered even this morning. You must effectively manage nutrients to achieve such results. This is from my own experience, and starting next year, if I get the chance, I'm thinking of trying a basal fertilizer when preparing the field. The weather forecast says the rainy season is over, but we must continue to apply additional fertilizer. If you look at where supplemental fertilizer can be applied, you will see these white chili pepper roots are visible along the furrows. Yes, here, these are all fine roots. Since the roots are white and exposed like this, if you lift the mat and apply it right next to it, it will seep into the furrow where the roots are. The roots absorb it, plus your top dressing. While guides say 2 or 3 applications suffice, chili peppers require meticulous nutrient management. So you must keep applying fertilizer. Even if you don't have an irrigation system in the furrows, you have to find a way to keep applying it based on your soil conditions. You must continue nutrient management for it to reach all the way to the top. Ah, that's plenty. Are there any pests or diseases right now? So after the rainy season ends, you have to be very careful with pest and disease control. The biggest concern after the rains is anthracnose, and the only way to control it is through consistent preventative measures. If it has already appeared, they say it's good to mix a strong systemic pesticide with an anthracnose treatment and a protective fungicide. But so far, I haven't seen any anthracnose in my fields. During the rainy season, I consider pest control on a weekly basis. Thanks to improved varieties, blight isn't an issue, but anthracnose is currently the most frightening concern. Even when you spray, some people just give it a quick splash like this. That's just a superficial farming method. If you farm like that, you shouldn't be farming at all. You need to spray from the bottom up, because airborne infections can start down here and spread upwards. If you can, start from the bottom where you can see, and drench them so they get a good soaking. Don't just come out and wave the sprayer around because someone told you to spray. I use an attachment on my tiller, and it works well to go back and forth, covering 2 furrows at a time with 1 pressure setting. 1,175 plants, and this field gets 380 liters of water. Pesticides are mixed with that, but how you mix them is up to each individual.